Welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast, where we interview the biggest and most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and capital raisers in the world to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets to help you conquer yourself, your life, your marriage, and use real estate as your wealth creation vehicle so that you can live a more successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and contribution. If what you're after is having it all, if what you desire is becoming the best version you can be across all areas, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sentimentally, and financially, you've come to the right place. We will bring to you the best of the best real estate entrepreneurs who will give you the insights, knowledge, experience, and skills so that you can go out and crush it financially and across all areas of your life. Grab pencil and paper, sit back, enjoy, and you are welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. As always, I have an incredible guest with me today, and I'm super excited to get to talk to him, connect with him, and learn from him. But before I introduce this modern king to you, though, I just want to ask all of you for a favor. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value and insight, a skill, if you get some cool information or maybe some motivation or inspiration to go out and take some action and keep on moving forward towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode with some of your friends. Share with someone you know is interested in real estate. Share with someone who you think this might impact. Help us share this message and help other people. And to all of you who do share, who do share it on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your stories or whatever, I send you a big hug and a big thank you. And today I have with me Bill Ham. He's the chief operating officer at the driving force behind a real estate company called Brought Broadwell Property Group, and he has upwards of 20 years in experience in real estate, with a proven track record of identifying, acquiring, operating, and divesting of large footprint multifamily housing. Bill can be seen and heard on countless podcasts and webinars, as well as standing on stages, giving presentations, and on trade shows. And he's basically, when it comes to real estate investing, multifamily real estate investing, and when it comes to acquiring, operating, and identifying properties, he's an expert. And Bill has been a real estate entrepreneur and a sought-after speaker. He's an author and an operator of his real estate, and his passion lies in education. So this is why he's a coach and a mentor to future titans in multifamily real estate. He's also a husband, father, and real estate entrepreneur. Super excited to have you, Bill. Thank you very much for being here, man. And you're welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
So, Bill, the first thing that I do with my guest is that I ask them to walk us through their real estate investing journey in 75 seconds or less.
Okay. Started off in 2005 with a duplex. I was a pilot by trade, walked away from the aviation career with the duplex. It was cash flowing $300 a month. I had saved up 10 grand. That's what I started my real estate career with. Started small, took a lot of years, ultimately to grow into larger commercial real estate. And that's what I do now. And I teach. That's it.
Cool. Pretty, straight to the point. So you were, you flew airplanes. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool flying airplanes. It's not so cool doing it for a living. That's the part they don't tell you, is the job sucks. Flying airplanes is great. Being a pilot, that's a terrible job. I mean, I love flying airplanes and I love my pilot friends and all that, but it is a hard job. It's not exactly what people always think. You think being a pilot, you're flying the airplane, blue skies, all this stuff. Yeah, that's a very small percent of the job. What you don't see is the 90% of the time you're sitting around somewhere waiting for someone to kick you into drive and say, okay, let's go home. It's a lot of waiting, a lot of sitting around in airports, a lot of downtime, and a lot of that is really boring. And so, it ultimately wasn't for me, and I went into real estate. But yeah, it's a good job. It's just not what everybody thinks it is all the time.
A lot of downtime. I have security, right? Back, like bodyguard, and I'm like, I sometimes feel bad because they are always waiting for me, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, if I was them, I would be listening to like podcasts like this, right? Or I would look at my
sure.
what my goals are, and then like listen to a book or to a podcast or to a course or whatever that would take me closer to that, right?
Right.
So I'm curious, was that you? Did it like
Yeah,
on
basically. Yeah, exactly. I was guarding the airplane, not the executive, but yeah, but basically, yeah, you're a glorified limo driver.
yeah,
That's what it is. And it's a lot of sitting around waiting to be told what to do and when to do it by the boss, which is pretty much the definition of most jobs, by the way. But that it's
yeah.
some people are good at waiting. Some people are good at working. Some people are good at being employees. I wasn't good at being an employee. I am good at working. I just wasn't good at working for someone else.
Hmm.
And I certainly wasn't really good at waiting to be told when and what to do. That was a personality flaw that made me a great entrepreneur and not such a good employee. But way it goes.
So then you decided that this is not for me. This wasn't for you, and then you went into real estate. So how did that happen? Right, you bought a duplex, but how was like? Can you walk me through that story? Like one day you just have the
Yeah.
idea of, oh, you know what, I'm gonna buy a duplex, or how did that happen?
Yeah, not well. I saw friends of mine flipping houses and doing deals and things of that nature, and they would go out and flip a house or do a deal and make, what I was making all year long in one or two deals. And I
Crazy,
thought,
right?
okay, yeah. Well, I was thinking, all right, now these are friends of mine. They're a bunch of idiots, right? They're like me. They're nothing special.
Hello, morning kings and queens. At my company, Millionaire Network Automation, we believe in the power of networking. We believe that in real estate, your net worth is your network. This is why we help real estate investors raise capital by connecting them with their ideal investors and helping them build a massive network of their ideal investors in less than 30 days and with only 4 hours of work per week. If you're interested in this, click the link below in the description of this podcast to learn how you can propel your growth with a reliable system that will consistently help you connect with your ideal investors, build trust, add value, get your investors to promote you and put you in front of more of their investor friends, and raise more capital faster and in a much more effortless way so that you can achieve your financial freedom and still have the time and the energy to pour into every single other area of your life. So go watch the training, and you're going to have the opportunity to book a call to talk about how you can get this 100% done for you system implemented in the next 5 days. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you later, and enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
We're all hanging out at the same bars, drinking the same drinks, and I get up and go to work in the morning, and they get up and go to real estate, and that I kind of just kept noticing that and paying attention to that, and I was lucky to surround myself as you've brought up. Networking is an extremely important aspect of business, and I was lucky enough to be introduced to some good business people that sort of showed me the ropes and threw me some educational bones. And I studied a lot. I read like this, podcasts weren't around at the time, but I read every book, anything I could get my hands on, anything I could do to learn, I did. And that's how I got there, and really just went and just took a gamble on that first deal.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit in the driveway, wait for all the lights to turn green before you back out, right? So I studied for as much as I could. I got as much education as I could. And then when I thought I had the right deal, I just pulled the trigger and went for it. You can't sit there and always try and get it right all the time. It's not going to happen. You're just going to have to take action at some point in time. And that's what I did. And for better or for worse, I survived it. I have
Cool.
made a lot of money, and I have lost a lot of money. So I'm not here to tell you that I've always been successful. It's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And real estate is a very difficult business. It's very good, but it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, and so you studied a lot, read a lot of books, and you probably didn't have a problem with that because in order for you to become a pilot, you gotta read a lot. So you probably
You
didn't,
do.
right? You
Yeah.
probably didn't have any problem with that. Um, and one really cool thing that I just want to mention, right, that I don't want to breeze over. You said like your friends, right? You had a few friends that were doing real estate,
Mhm.
and they would make more money than you did in the entire year with your job.
Right.
And there's a cool insight that we have that I heard from that, because you said, well, they're my friends, right? Like I'm the same as them. We go to the same
Yeah.
bar, we drink the same beers. Like what do they
Yeah.
have that I don't, that wouldn't allow me for me to, do the same things that they're doing, right?
Yeah.
That's a great
Nothing.
that's a great mindset,
Nothing.
right?
That was what I came to. I'm like, wait a minute. Nothing.
And that's when
Yeah.
you realize, when you surround
Yeah.
with a group of people who are further ahead of you, right? Like you realize that like I'm the same as them. They're not that smart. They're not that like clever or anything like that. So if they doing it,
Yeah,
I can do it as well, right?
exactly.
Um,
That was my aha moment. Yeah.
so let's see. So how did you buy that first property?
Seller financing, actually. It was a friend of mine who owned it. One of my first sort of friends and people that helped me out in business, and did seller financing. I put down a little bit of money and got them to carry a loan, and then I was able to refinance a little while later at a lender, and then pay them back from the seller financing, and so get into the deal with long-term loan. So short-term seller financing refinanced into a long-term loan is the
Hmm.
answer.
Cool. So for everyone out there listening who do not know what seller financing is, can you maybe explain it, a little bit
Sure.
deeper?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you have basically on a high level, you have traditional financing and you have creative financing. Traditional financing means you're getting a loan from somebody, normal commercial bank, commercial loan, like we all do, or like is done, right? And creative financing is now using some form of creativity to get the deal done. There's lots of different types, such as master lease options and seller financing and partnerships, all kind of stuff. We won't go into all those different details, but seller financing is where the seller carries back a mortgage. So instead of you going to the bank and getting a loan and then giving all that cash to the seller at closing, you're going to borrow the money basically from the seller. So instead of they're going to transfer the title to you, and instead of you giving them cash, they're just accepting the mortgage, the IOU, and then you may be putting down some money. That's certainly negotiable. But that's what seller financing is. It's the seller acting as the bank and giving you a loan.
That's great. Well, not crazy. Maybe another word to describe that would be creative, right? Right. So why would
There
it
you
why
go.
would it like a seller accept to that?
Why would they do it or why would they not
Yeah.
do it? What was the
Yeah.
question?
Yeah. Why would they agree to like
Lots of
financing?
different
Yeah.
reasons. Yeah. There's lots of reasons. The main reason going forward is to get the price that they want. What we're
Mm,
seeing in the commercial real estate world right now, in the multifamily world right now, is the interest rates have gone up, and so that is making people's bank payments, debt service go up. So if you have more of a bank payment, then you're going to have less cash flow. The way you can solve that is by paying a lot less for the real estate or putting down a ton of money, right? Either one will solve the problem. Well, sometimes people don't want to go and put down 40, 45% down payment, right? That might not be something you want to do. And so you go to the seller and say, well, hey, with the interest rates the way they are, I can't pay you this price. I have to pay you, X minus one. Well, the seller in that case could say, okay, well, I tell you what, I still want the price that I want. Therefore, I'll give you seller financing instead of you going to a bank. So that's one reason they would do it, is to get the price they want in tough times like we're seeing right now, where a
mm-hmm.
lot of traditional lending is not the answer. And traditional lending is not going to be the answer for a lot of stuff going forward. We can spend all afternoon discussing why that's the case, but debt is currently tough, and it's going to be tough going forward. It's not something that's going to change anytime soon. So you're really going to be using a lot of creative financing to get deals done. Catch with seller financing though, the seller actually has to have 100% equity. See, the seller can't have a mortgage, owe money to the bank, and then give you seller financing. You can do what's called a wrap or subject to, but that's a different subject. That's not actually seller financing.
That
But
involves even more creativity. Yeah.
yeah, you're doing mortgages around mortgages and all this stuff. So some of those things I don't care for, and I think are a bit loosey goosey. But seller financing is not, and but again, the seller has to have equity to be able to convey that mortgage to you.
All right. So then creative financing is going to start being more important based on the, how the real estate industry is right now and everything that is happening in
Yeah,
the market. So I have a question, right?
sure.
To clear it up, for myself and for anyone who is watching who may think, oh, that's an interesting topic, right? That's an interesting idea, creative financing. So like seller financing, what if the seller doesn't even know that they have that option, right? Like to do that.
Ah, yeah, then it's your responsibility, your job, and your task to be educated enough on
Mm,
that subject that you can educate the seller. Because you're right, a seller may not know it's an option. they may ask the exact same question you just asked. Why would I do this? This sounds like a terrible idea. Why would I do it?
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of reasons. Tax issues is another one, right? A seller cannot avoid taxes. I don't want anybody to get the idea that using creative financing is some sort of tax dodge or a way to not pay taxes. It's not. But seller financing can allow a seller to spread the tax hit out over time, right? Instead of if they sell all at once and they receive one big hunk of capital gains, if they don't do a 1031 exchange, if they don't swap that money out, then they're going to pay a fair amount of taxes on that right then and there. So by doing seller financing, they're just going to spread those taxes out over the next however long the loan is. Well, that's time value of money. Money is worth less in the future.
For
right?
sure.
So if they can pay those taxes in the future, as opposed to pay the exact same tax amount today, it's actually cheaper to pay it in the future because of inflation, therefore so on and so on. But yeah, that's another reason. Again, we could go for lots of reasons, but there's the pretty big ones. Another one would be that the seller, and this is something I think is going to come up a lot. The seller has a property with a lot of deferred maintenance. They don't have the money to do the repairs.
Okay.
They're over their head, and they need someone with fresh capital to come in there and bring some money to that deal that they don't have, and they're going to be willing to sort of swap out and trade for that.
All right. So there's a lot, right? When it comes to creative
A lot of
financing,
reasons.
that's why that's why it's like creative, right? It's a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to be able to educate the seller and know yourself a lot about this type of financing strategy. So to learn more about these financing strategies, Bill, you have a book, right? It's called Creative Cash.
I happen to have a copy right here. Yeah, Creative Cash. So I actually probably the other one. I've got two books. I've got Creative Cash, which is the one we're discussing here. That you can see that. Yeah, both of these are available on Amazon. I also have Real Estate Raw. So Creative Cash is a book on how to use creative financing to get real estate deals done. Real Estate Raw is a step-by-step manual on how to build a real estate portfolio. So you have my 20 years of experience in one book where I'm just teaching you the mechanics of building a business in real estate. Creative financing is now how to do what's in Real Estate Raw without a bank. So with the two books together, you're pretty well set up. Again, both of those are on Amazon. You can certainly go check those out at any point in time.
Awesome, man. Imagine you, right? Because you told me right now, and I want to talk a little bit more about this. You told me that it took a lot of time, right, to like gain momentum and be able to get to where you are right now. Imagine if you had these kind of resources back in your time when you started, 20 years ago in your real estate investing journey, right? Imagine if someone, handed you like two books that basically summarized everything that you had to know from like that person's 20-year real estate investing career. Damn, right?
Yeah, it would help.
Yeah, it would definitely help a lot.
Yeah,
Super exciting stuff. So
absolutely.
those
Yeah,
books are on Amazon.
For $30, I promise you, there's more than $30 worth of information in there. I think that's what they sell for on Amazon, like 12, 15 bucks, whatever they are. I promise you, there's more than $30 worth of info in there.
Awesome. So for all of you modern kings and queens watching, if you're interested in well, number one, if you're interested in a step-by-step roadmap, right, a book that gives you a step-by-step manual on how to build your real estate investing portfolio, right, and you want to learn how to do creative financing in case you encounter you find yourself in uncertain times in the market like the ones we are in right now, then it might be a good idea for you to go and get those books on Amazon. I'm gonna put the links in the description of this podcast so that it's easy for you to go in and search for them. But yeah, great resources, Bill. So back to the conversation, man. You mentioned earlier right now that it took a lot of time. Can you maybe describe what you mean with that?
Well, it took a lot of. I mean, which part took a lot of time? Everything takes a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure.
The building of the business took a lot of time. My first deal took about a year of me just reading and studying before I closed my first deal. So let's talk about that for a second, because I've had hundreds of students out here in the real estate world, and that's one thing that I think a lot of people misunderstand is the time frame and the patience that it takes to ultimately be successful in real estate. If you're talking multifamily, you might close your first deal in the first year that you get out and really spend some time getting educated, read, look at deals, learn deal analysis, all the stuff that I teach. I see most of my students closing their multifamily deals within a year, maybe later part of their first year. So, a lot of people come onto the program and think, oh, I'm going to close a deal in a month or two. Very unlikely. Very unlikely. It's going to take you a while. As you said, you have to build the network. You have to know what you're doing. You have to build the education. Then once you have this competency, it's a multiplication of frequency, right? It's competency times frequency. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to go do it a whole lot, and you have to do a whole lot for a while to ultimately get that success. It's not very difficult. It's not intelligent. It is difficult. It is a lot of work. It's not that intelligent in its process. It's figure out what is a good deal, look at a lot of deals, do it a lot. That's it.
Yeah. 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 So I like that, right? So it's about competency times frequency. And in order for you to get competencies, well, you gotta put in the work, have a lot of frequency, right? And then the more
Correct.
you do the work, the more competent you'll get. And the more competent you'll get, the more effective the work that you put in will be, right?
Absolutely.
But it's nice that you give people like a realistic view, like a realistic perspective on what to you know, not wait for, but expect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What to expect from multifamily real estate, because a lot of people come in, thinking it's another like get rich quick thing, right? Which
Right.
is not,
Exactly.
right? You could get
Right.
really rich and make a lot of money without having to put in so much work, right? But it will take time, and it
Yeah,
will.
and I'll say what I've found is the people that tend to get rich quickly in real estate tend to get unrich pretty quickly in real estate too.
Okay.
People who make a whole lot of money real fast tend to lose it. It tends not to stick around. It tends not to stay because they made the money too quickly, or more than likely, they got lucky and they made some good deals, some lucky deals in a really hot market that was really inclining. And the market really is what made the deal happen. And people stop and think now, oh, I'm smart. And they get a
Mm-hmm.
little, a little arrogant, a little cocky because the market kind of floated the boat, if you will. The rising tide floats all boats, as they say. And I've seen a lot of that over the last couple of years. People that I think were complete idiots, making a fair amount of money. They were, again, let me repeat, they were complete idiots. They were doing terrible deals. The the underwriting was bad. The deal was horrible. It was just the market that made that work out for them. And if they continue on in that manner, as the market shifts, it will expose that bad behavior. And such as buy, renovate, refinance. That's a common theme in real estate, the BRRRR model: the buy, renovate, refinance, run off, whatever it is. I don't know. Point being is that this buy and renovate and pull your money out at a refinance point works great till it doesn't. And then it
Mm-hmm.
really doesn't work, and you can go straight into foreclosure like that. So it's a gamble model. You're buying and you're allowing the value to go up, and then you're going to refi and you're going to pull your money out. Wonderful, until the interest rates go up. And then all of a sudden that model does not work. And so that's where I think we're at right now, is there's been so many people that did not pay attention to the market cycle. They went through COVID and all the stimulus money and all this kind of stuff, and they thought, oh, this is the new normal. And they started making business decisions in that very small amount of time when the world was doing some weird stuff. And they made a bunch of bad decisions. And the problem is they went and got loans, 2 and 3 year bridge debt, shorter term loans that are not now all coming due in 2023, 2024, and they're having a massive rate reset. So these are people that went out and bought, properties at 3, 4, 3.5% interest rate, who now have loans coming due this year, early next year, and they're going to reset into a 6.5, 7% interest rate, something of that
Damn.
nature. And so they don't have the debt service coverage ratio. They're not going to have the math to get out of that deal. And so that BRRRR model, that buy, renovate, pull money out, all of a sudden means buy, renovate, and add some more money at closing when you go to refinance. And a lot of people aren't going to be able to do that. So you really have to understand market cycles. And I teach a lot about that in Real Estate Raw as well, actually in both of my books. You really have to understand market cycles. You have to understand how to adjust your strategy based on the cycle and knowing what's upcoming in the market cycle. If you just fix and flip, fix and flip, fix and flip, that works until all of a sudden it doesn't. And you're going to make a bunch of money and then you're going to give it right back. So the
Mm-hmm.
people that come into the market and just take off and make a whole lot of money real quick tend not to keep it. Just sort of something I've come to realize over the last 20 years. So don't be in too big of a hurry to get rich. You might screw it all up.
Yeah. So Bill, it sounds
Right.
like you're pretty educated on like, what's happening right now in the market and market cycles. Honestly, I'm pretty incompetent, ignorant about that because like it's the first cycle that I'm going through. So,
Sure.
could you enlighten us a little bit about what's happening right now and tell us a little bit about the market cycle that we're going through?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll try and keep it in that 75 seconds or less kind of thing. Yes, basically, first off, the markets cycle. There are four cycles to a general economic market cycle, right? You have the expansion, the peak, the recession, the trough. And so all I'm saying is up, the peak, the down, and the bottom, right? Up, down, up, down. Pretty straightforward. And those are just terms. Those are not my terms. Those are economic terms.
Mm-hmm.
So what really drives these cycles, and when we say cycle, it means lots of different things. It means price, it means debt, it means rent, it means cash flow, it can mean attitudes and mindsets and emotions. All of these things cycle, right? And so in the real estate economic cycle, what it really is an inflation cycle. So you have to watch inflation and you watch what's going on in inflation because, and again, I have an entire lecture on this you can go download. But basically, what's going on is, the Feds use bonds and interest rates to control the amount of money in the world. If they want more money in the world, they lower interest rates and they buy bonds. They put money into the world. If they're trying to get money out of the world, when the Federal Reserve believes, hey, we have too much money in our economy, which means inflation, right? That means everybody's got too much money and therefore the money is becoming less valuable, right? All right. So for example, you probably heard your parents, grandparents, stuff like that say, oh, I remember back when you could get a movie and a drink for, a dollar or two, whatever it was. I remember 99 cents a gallon gas when I
Mm-hmm.
first turned 16 and started driving. I remember it was 99 cents a gallon, right? Okay, well now what is it? Three and a half, wherever you live, couple bucks. That's inflation. Gallon of gas, still a gallon of gas, right? It didn't do anything different, same thing, but it's more expensive. That means it takes $3 to buy something that it used to take $1. That's inflation. The Feds wind up saying, hey, that's getting too much. So they raise the interest rates. Again, we could have a whole conversation about how rates work, maybe some other time. But what that means now is that the interest rates have gone way up, right? And that's going to cause your loan when you go to the bank to be more expensive. If the rates are
Mm-hmm.
up, you're making a bigger payment. If you're making a bigger payment, you're going to make less cash flow. All right. So now going forward, you have the option of just making a lot less cash flow, or you have the option of paying less for the real estate, trying to get the seller to lower the price. Problem right now is the rates went up so quickly, so high, so fast that sellers have not been able to adjust. Buyers and sellers have not been able to adjust. So you have a ton of sellers who want a price that buyers can't really give them when they go over to the bank and they do the analysis. You realize your payment's going to be huge and the property just will never make any money. Matter of fact, it might even lose money if you pay that price,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's called the bid ask gap, right? The difference between what people are bidding and what people are asking. And the bid ask gap at the moment is huge, right? It's a gigantic distance between what people want for real estate and what people are willing to pay. So we're not seeing a lot of transactions. We're not seeing a lot of deals. That is what's going on this afternoon. What I predict will come shortly is a fair amount of distress. I believe everyone that got short-term loans, 2-3 year loans that are all going to have those loans mature. That's called maturity exposure, right? I think we have a lot of maturity exposure in America. Bunch of loans coming due, and when they come due, those people are going to have a hell of a hard time trying to either refinance or sell those properties. And it's going to result in a bunch of people writing checks or going into foreclosure.
Hmm.
And that's it. And this is exactly, or it's the exact same thing we went through in 2008. I know you didn't, but the people that are in business went through 2008, but for a different reason. There was the banking issues there. It's been a slightly different reason, but the results are the same. It's about every 10 years we go through the cycle. It goes up, it goes down, you go through recession. It's normal. But you have to study this economically. You have to study economics so that you know what to be prepared for, in the next market cycle. Or you can just take a shortcut and read both of my books, and then you don't have to study economics. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of reading both of my books, you do need to really understand, where we're at and what's going on in the world, so that you don't make stupid mistakes, right? Everybody's going to make mistakes. Can't stop you from making mistakes. We just want to know why we make them and how to avoid, making ones that could have been easily avoided, right? Even if you read all of my books and study all the material and all that stuff, you're still going to go out there and make mistakes. You just will avoid the big ones and the
Mm-hmm.
easy ones that you can avoid, right? That's what the education is for. Nobody can control the market. Nobody can control any of this stuff. You just have to know what you're doing. That's all.
Yeah, it's the ignorance gap, right? You make the ignorance gap a lot shorter, right? When you educate
Right.
yourself and you work on putting in the work and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
Well, you know what? I'll put it to you this way. You're going to get an education and you're going to pay for it. The question is, where do you get that education and how much do you pay for it? Because out there on the street, it's damn expensive. You can go
yeah,
right out on the street and
and
you don't need
painful.
a book or a podcast or anything. Go ahead, take off. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to pay for every one of them, right? You can make those mistakes in class or you can make those mistakes out on the street. Up to you. You will get educated and you will pay tuition. There's no way around that. It's just a question
Mm-hmm.
of who and where and how much you pay for it, and how much you suffer to learn. Me, I did read, study, but a lot of what I know is come from just getting beat up on the street of business, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just pure experience.
And like all people watching could take advantage of all of your suffering and all of the work that you put in and all of your mistakes, right? On Real Estate Raw,
Sure,
which I believe is your multifamily
correct.
real
Yeah,
estate investing coaching program, right?
that's right. Go to realestateraw.com, just like the title of the book, realestateraw.com. And I've got a bunch of free information on there. I've got courses that are totally free. A lot of information. There is some paid material on there, and you can reach out to me if you want to think about hiring me by the hour or through some of my general programs. Just go on the website and a ton of information there. Also, I have a Facebook group, same name, Real Estate Raw. Now that is free, obviously, Facebook, and it's a private group. So just request an invite. We'll let you in, answer the questions. I go live once a week on Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, I go in there and do a 15, 20-minute live lecture every week on one different topic. So I'll pick out a topic each week, shoot about a 20-minute lecture. All of the recordings from all the other weeks are already in there. So you can go through all the other ones. Again, that's just pure give back. That's just me teaching once a week. It's like we were saying, it's networking. It's exactly what you and I are doing with the podcast now. We are
Mm-hmm.
providing content and value for people in the world. Yeah, but let's be clear, we're networking. That's what we're really doing. And that's what these books are. Nobody is getting rich on some books. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, there's no money in it. If you think you're going to write books and make money, call me up. I will talk you out of writing a book if you think there's money in it. But it's a 200-page business card. It's really good for networking and credibility. So I highly recommend that you go out and write a book or do something of that nature. Just do it for the right reason. Don't think you're about to get rich, and all of a sudden the phone's going to ring and everybody's going to call you up and come speak on their giant stage and pay you some kind of big speaker fees. I've heard all this stuff from people that have gotten me to help them write books. But books are business cards. Just remember that and you'll be fine.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for that information, Bill. So let's see. So going back to the talk, to the little lecture that you were giving us on the market cycles and everything.
Yeah.
I have a question, right? So
Sure.
right now, according to your prediction, there's going to be a lot of people going into foreclosures, right? So
I believe there will be. Yeah.
what does that mean for real estate investors?
Well, I think for some of them, it's going to mean that tuition conversation we just had. I think a lot of people are about to pay tuition. I think it's going to cause a lot of collateral damage. I think it's going to possibly put us into a recession, and that a lot of people are going to lose money. Then I think there's everybody else that is positioned to take advantage of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
if you're in the situation, there's always a way out. There's always things you can do. Reach out to me. I can discuss ways of you getting out of that bad situation. If you're not an owner, you're new to the business, you're looking to get in, now is the perfect time because several comments. You're not buying anything today anyway because the debt sucks and there's not much to buy. So it is a phenomenal time to get in and learn. All right, get in, meet people, start learning, get your education. What you're going to do is you're going to get all that momentum into that down cycle so that when we go down into that bottom cycle and prices do level off and come down, you're going into that perfect buying cycle, educated and with a good network, right?
Nice.
So that's, people kind of want to wait and say, oh, I'll wait. I'm going to get in when the market's perfect. No, that's the worst time to get in because then you have that ramp up time, that year, 2, 3 years of building up your momentum. and you're going to be back up halfway through the other cycle by the time. So you don't get in at the bottom, you get in pre-bottom so that you're ready at the bottom. And I think now, depending on the city, but most cities, I think we're kind of over the top, and we're probably going to be headed down in value, in certain things of that nature for a little while.
Okay, so pre-bottom. So we're in, pre-bottom, and it's a good time to starting to get educated. By the time we do get into like a buying frenzy, right? We're prepared.
Right, exactly. There's only three things you got to do in this business: deal flow, deal analysis, networking. That's it. If you're ever lost, you're ever wondering, what am I supposed to do? I'm not sure what to do next in my real estate, but deal flow, deal analysis, networking. Do one of those three things, and you'll always be doing something worthwhile in your business. You got to have deals coming in the door. You got to meet realtors, sellers, whomever, right? That's the frequency. You got to have the competency. Okay, now that is deal analysis. You got to know what you're looking at. So you got to have a lot of stuff coming in the door. You got to know what you're looking at, and then you better be networking, so that you have the partnerships and the equity to be able to actually take those deals down when you find them. So that's kind of your light forward. If you're ever lost, it's deal flow, deal analysis, networking. Do one of those three things, you always find your way home.
Cool. So then, what do you say would be like the three top things to be learning right now, while we are on pre-bottom in the market?
Well, those three things right there: deal flow, deal analysis, networking. So
learning about deal flow.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's all you need to be learning. You need to learn. And by the way, that actually has nothing to do with the market cycle. That is my answer for the last 20 years of real estate. It doesn't matter where you're at in the market or what's going on in the world. Those three answers are the same. You got to have deals coming in the door. If you're not looking at deals, it's a math issue, right? It's probability. Mm-hmm. It's the more deals you have coming in the door, the more probable you are of finding a good one, right? It's just a numbers game. It's like sales or anything else. You have to run a certain amount of numbers. You have to look at a certain amount of deals to find a good one. If you look, in my suggestion, by the way, is 3 deals a week. So whatever it is you're trying to buy, whether it be a house, duplexes, or 100 units, whatever size, you want to be trying to look at 3 deals a week to really be functional in this business. If you don't have that deal flow, then I would say you're falling behind the curve. So 3 deals a week that you sit down and you analyze. Okay, next step would be, how do you analyze it? What is a good deal? And you need to understand that. Either learn it from me or learn it from somebody else, but please learn it. And then it's the networking, and that's what we're doing right now, going out, meeting the people, the friends, family, and the contacts that will allow you to get those deals done on the financial aspect, right? So those are your 3 things that you need to be doing all the time. Now, the deal flow, there's systems in there. Again, we don't have time for that today. I do teach that, but you need to build some deal flow systems for bringing those deals in on a very regular basis, and then deal analysis. So those are the 2 things that I would say be doing the majority of, and then network. You always need to be networking. Always be networking.
Awesome. So, actually, yeah, we we actually are about to, we're very close to the hour, right? And I do end my podcast with some questions.
Sure, go for it.
I've had a lot of fun, and it's been really valuable. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the first question. Let me just take them out really quick. Let's see. All right. So the first question, Bill, is, what is a false belief? You've coached, I don't know, maybe hundreds of students on real estate investing, right? So what is a false belief that maybe you had, or that you see a lot of your students having, that holds them back, that is false, like it's just like an illusion of their mind, it's false, and holds them back from maybe making their first deal, or actually jumping into the multifamily real estate investing industry business?
Yeah, I would say lack of tolerance for failure. That's the big one. Thin skin. That's probably the biggest one that'll hold people back. And that's not real estate. That's humans in general. People are too success driven and not tolerant enough to failure. And I'll tell you right now, success stands on the shoulders of failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Success is doing stuff wrong an awful lot until you just eventually do it right and figure it out. The students that I cannot help are the ones that show up and go, I can't make a mistake. I got to get this right. I can't make any mistakes. I got to do this perfect. Okay, I can't help you. You've already got the wrong mindset right there, because that means you're not tolerant to failure. You're not tolerant to mistakes, and you think you're going to get it all right. There's absolutely no way. So I would tell you that my success rate on a new venture is about 15%, maybe 20% on a good day. And so that means that I have personal fail rate of about 80%, most things. And I love it. That's that, that's exactly how you should be doing. Look, if you're getting stuff right all the time, you are making a bigger mistake than I can possibly tell you. Right? You are way too far behind your safe zone. You're not pushing the limits. People that get it right all the time are not trying hard enough, man. If you're not screwing something up, you're not trying hard enough. Now, once you've got your skill set and your systems in place, okay, then we can set that aside. And now you have mastered that. You don't fail. Like I don't fail at apartments all the time anymore. But have I? Yeah, of course. So there's the key that I would say holds most people back is that they're want to get everything right before taking action, which is a form of fear. And it's good to be afraid, but it's not good to be so afraid that it stops you from doing stuff. So that would probably be what I would say is that failure is not as big a deal at the end of the day as I've made it out to be, as other people have made it out to be. I would say just be ready to screw stuff up on a very regular basis and enjoy it. Have a good attitude about it, and you'll be
fine. Awesome. Thank you very much, Bill. So the next question is, what is like an empowering belief, right, that you see any of your students, that win, right, that win pretty often? Any of people who like make it in real estate, who are able to go out and make deals and all of that? What type of mindset do they have?
Not a necessarily positive one. They have a real mindset, and I think that a lot of people have a terrible understanding of mindset. And I think a lot of people think that mindset means you're positive all the time, that you're always happy, you're always positive. Look, that is garbage. Let me tell you right now. First of all, you don't need to be positive all the time. You probably shouldn't be positive all the time. Bad stuff happens. Bad stuff happens to us all the time. You think you're going to be positive all the time, you're going to go nuts, first of all. So second of all, it's okay to be negative. Now, you don't want to live in a negative world, but it's all right to be negative. You don't have to go around and be positive all the time. Who said that? That's crazy. So the people that I see that are successful in real estate have an edge to them. And they're the people that are successful in business in general, right? They're not necessarily always positive. They know when to be negative. They know why they're negative. They know when to be positive, right? And they're not always wearing rosy colored glasses. They know what they're doing. I saw somebody one time, and the reason I go to this is because really what I'm getting to is I think sometimes people lean towards attitude and mindset over skill set, and that's a problem, right? I was funny being a pilot. I was talking to a student one time, like stuff, and the guy actually had on the wall behind him, he had a plaque back there, and it said, attitude is altitude. That's what he said. Attitude is altitude. And he was on this plaque back there. And I sat there. Finally, I just started laughing. The guy's like, what are you laughing at? I said, that's the stupidest comment I've ever seen behind you on that wall. I said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Man, that's some false positive guru garbage right there. Let me tell you something, man. Attitude is altitude till you run out of fuel. Then the skill set that bring you home. You go crash that plane with the best attitude in the whole wide world and die smiling if you can't fly home without gas, right? So yeah, your attitude's cute and all that positivity stuff, that's cute. You better back it up with some skill set, or your attitude is just going to get you killed. And so positivity is cool. Everybody wants to be positive and all this kind of stuff. Fine, back it up, get some skill set. And when you do, then you know when to be positive and you know when to be negative and you know what the difference between the two is, right? I can be an incredibly nasty and negative person when necessary. I'm not normally, but I can be. And so again, I think people kind of lean too much towards attitude, thinking that a general positive mindset is the answer. It is a good answer. It is not the answer. You got to have a good mindset and skill set. And so both of those together, yes, that is a powerful combination. If you just have mindset, you just got your head in the clouds and you're just some kind of motivational guru nonsense. And so I would caution people about an overly positive thinking track, because then the day that you're not positive and you have a bad day, you start blaming yourself because you feel guilty because you're supposed to be positive, right? Let yourself off the hook. That's a bunch of garbage. You're going to have a bad day. Don't worry about it.
That's an incredible and awesome, great advice, right? Like it's like you have your feet on the ground. I really like that, right? Because yeah, there's this world out there, and especially like with entrepreneurs, that all you need is mindset, right? Like the 80-20, 80% mindset, 20% skill set. But I think you're right. I think, well, no. No. Yeah, I think you're right. And yeah,
Yeah,
like
you can think. You don't have to know. You can think. I'm right. Try it out. Just hey, don't believe me. Just go try it.
yeah.
Just go give it a shot. And if I'm wrong, come back and tell me about it. I will stand corrected. I will be educated. I love being wrong. I told you already, I'm wrong about 85% of the time, most of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I learn. That's how I have all of this because I was so wrong for so long that I was able to write books on how to do it right, right? So that's success. And that's where people, I think, go so wrong with the concept of success. I've got to do it right. I've got to get it right. I've got to be no. You've got to get started. You've got to take action. You've got to just go out there and do it. Are you going to get beat up? Yeah, yeah. Are you going to have bad days? Yes. And don't worry about, having that good attitude on a good day. Let yourself off the hook on a bad day. Just keep going. Just don't stop. That's the key.
Great. The next question, and then we have another one, and that's it. All right. The next question is, knowing what you know now, Bill. All right. What piece of advice would you give yourself at the beginning of your journey to help yourself have, a faster, easier, maybe smoother success in real estate?
I'm going to tell you this is not no affront to you personally. I hate that question. It's a terrible question. And the reason that I don't like the question is because I don't have an answer for the question. I would
Okay.
not go back and tell myself a thing because
Okay.
then I would shortcut all of the pain, all the suffering, and all of the headache that I went through that made me who I am right now, and then I probably
Exactly.
wouldn't be here right now. So everybody kind of
Okay.
goes, "Oh, if you go back in time and just pave the way for yourself." Then I'd be some kind of untested, spoiled, unknown brat that was probably about to go into foreclosure because I didn't suffer and go through that and get tested. So no, I wouldn't go back in time and tell myself a blinking thing. I might go back and laugh, have some good laughs. Watch, hey guys, watch this one. He's about to get his rear end really kicked this time around. But I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't tell myself anything. And I think that's a bad point of view personally. Again, nothing to you personally, but I don't think that's something you really want to get your head around. Is trying to go back in time and tell yourself stuff. Not a good idea.
I really like that. I really like that perspective. And but you know what, man? I think I'm a like a spoiled brat because like I've been getting this advice, like the advice from like over 200 very successful people who have been able to be successful not only financially but across all areas of their life. And I've been able to ask them about their mistakes and get some advice and actually listen and then re-listen because like these recordings are mine, right? And actually
Sure.
implement. And I think I've asked myself them, and I have a lot of gratitude in my heart, right? Because I've always asked myself, like, why is it so easy, right? Like, because it feels easy, honestly, probably because I'm not doing it a lot. I should be doing a lot more. Um, but I've never had to struggle, right? Like, and it's like just life got it, or the universe want for me to like do things right, or the opportunities literally fall in my lap, right? And I've asked myself that question, like, why me? And it's probably because of that, right? Because I listen, right, and actually
Yeah.
implement, right?
Well,
So
then let me say then if you've been blessed in your path and things have been given to you, that's great. Two pieces of advice: don't get cocky,
okay,
right? Don't get
yeah,
arrogant because that's the biggest mistake you can make is mistaking gifts from the universe as your own personal
I'm
strength and
intelligent,
intelligence.
right?
Second, share. If you want to keep it, give it away.
Yeah,
If you've
for
been given
sure.
a gift and you want to keep that gift, share it. If you
Thank you.
don't, I assure you it will be taken from you.
Yeah, so that's why my values are respect, humility, and wisdom, right? And if you claim to be a wise person, like there's a saying that like a wise man said that he doesn't know anything. Like the only thing he knows is that he doesn't know anything, right? So yeah, man, I do keep myself in check, right? And make sure that I'm not getting too cocky or that I'm like thinking that I'm better than I'm actually am, right? So yeah, respect, humility, and wisdom. I have it at the front of my mind every single day, and
Some people are blessed. There's nothing wrong with that. Good for you. If you've been blessed and your path has been easy for you, good. Just don't let that go to your head and share.
mhm, for
You'll be
sure.
fine.
Thanks. And the last one, man. The last question is, let's see. What is so building relationships and networking, like you said right now, like you mentioned, is one of the keys of real estate investing success, right? Deal flow, deal analysis, networking. So what networking strategy or advice can you give on that?
Yeah, being unknown doesn't pay well. It's pretty much my advice, right? So you've got to get known. How do you do that? Okay, that's a better question. Well, exactly what you're doing right here, exactly what I did with the books, exactly what we're doing. But the real answer is, what are you and I doing? We're creating value. We're creating value for each other. We're sharing, and we're creating value for the listeners and for other people around us. That's the key to networking. It's about the other side first. And so I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I see people do in networking is they make it about what they want and what they're after. And that is a mistake. You've got to create value and then exchange value. So you go out and you start networking. Well, what do you have? What do you want? That's what I always ask people. They come up to me, they want to network with me. Cool. What do you have? What do you want? Right. So if all you have is what you want, but you don't have anything to trade, this is a one-sided conversation. So you really need to stop and have a long look in the mirror and ask yourself, what value do you bring? And if you can't answer that, then again, call me. I can probably help you with that. But you've got to figure out what your value is. You've got to then exchange that value with others. And if you can't identify your own personal value, then you don't have any yet. Again, that's a different problem. I can help you with that. But you've got to figure out why you're there. Why does someone want to talk to you? Why does someone want to be friends or network with you? And then exchange that value. Then go out there and meet people and do things. It's why I have the Facebook group. That's completely a give back that I do. I get nothing out of that. It's networking, but it's value creation. It's doing this podcast. You're certainly not sending me a check for being on your podcast. I hope this goes out to 1 million people. You get 1 million views and we both get a lot of likes out of it or something like that. But that's the key. It's creation of value first and then exchange value through the network and the meeting of people. That's what I would tell you. Don't make it just something that you're after. Make it a value trade.
Awesome. So I think I really like you as a coach, man. Like there's a group of people.
realestateRaw.com. There's the website.
Yeah, there's a group of people that I think would really, really like you as a coach, right? And then there's another group of people that would probably not like you, but they need you.
We would not get along whatsoever. I've had those students. It happens. I have had a little over 1,000 students in the last 10 years. Cool. So I have over 1,000. I have absolutely run into 1 or 10 of every personality type out there. I get along with most people, not everybody. If we don't trust me, you will know real quick whether you fit or not. And I can help everybody. It's just some people will let me and some won't. But I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to mince words. I don't care whether you're successful or not, which is exactly why I can help you. It's very hard to help someone you actually care about. It's very difficult to really teach and help somebody you care about because you won't let them get hurt. I'll let you get hurt, believe me. No, I'll give you the information, but you're on your own. And so that's why I can bring you the reality and the truth about the business, because I don't need anything or want anything from you. I just want you to be successful. That's it.
Cool. So if I'm someone out there listening and I'm like, damn, this is exactly what I need, right? Or I just simply, like you, I want to become part of your Facebook group and receive all of that free value that you're giving out to people every single Wednesday. Where would be the best place to find you, Bill?
Yeah, well, one, I'll give you my email. I'll give everybody my email. It's bill@gobroadwell.com. BROADWELL, gobroadwell.com. You certainly send me an email, ask questions, whatever you like. The Facebook group is realestateRaw.com, so you can find that. We'll let you in there. And then the website, Real Estate Raw. So if you're interested in any of the programs, I do have free courses on Real Estate Raw. So go over there, check those out. The books are on Amazon. And you can always just Google Bill Ham Real Estate. I always feel funny saying that out loud, but you actually put in my name, 1M, and throw in real estate behind it. You'll pull up a bunch of pages of podcasts and other things that I've done out there, a lot of material. So just give a search, Bill Ham Real Estate, and you can find me pretty much all over.
Awesome, Bill. Thank you very much, man. I've really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
And I'll see you later, okay?
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. We want you to know that we love and appreciate you, and we're super grateful about being part of your journey of becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur and having it all. Please share this episode with a friend who you think will be impacted positively. Send it to someone who you know is interested in real estate and dreams of having it all and being the best they can be across all areas. And if you thought this episode was really valuable, share it on your social media as a post or a story. We have a special gift for all of those who contribute to the Modern Kings and Queens movement. So for those of you who decided to share this episode and help us spread our message, send me a message letting me know on any social media platform at Alex Ramirez, the Modern King. I have a special surprise for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.